Good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. This is a beautiful Sunday. This is a beautiful Sunday. I welcome you all to the Blacknificent Talk Show, a show that seeks to spotlight Black excellence and zoom into the struggles that Black people are facing in this modern time. So, yeah, speaking about spotlighting Black excellence, tonight we have the epitome of Black excellence, our own president of the Arise Black Child movement. So this is a beautiful day because we'll be in conversation with him, and we'll be talking about getting to know him and know the movement at large and what it means to this generation and what it means to him as well. I am Thabo Ramogayane. I'm your host. I'm not alone. I'm with my magnificent sister. Can you introduce yourself, my sister?
Hello, everybody. My name is Monama, and I am one of your hosts tonight as well. I'm happy to do this with you, Thabo.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. Sorry about that. My president, we welcome you in your own show. Welcome you in your house.
Thank you very much, Thabo. No, I'm a guest here. I'm a guest. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So yeah, we thank God for your presence. So before we can go further with the questions, I have some ice breaking for, I think it will take us just 2 minutes, few questions that I would say a word and you'll tell me what it means to you.
Okay.
Are you okay with that, President?
No, we can do that.
The first word is family.
Yo, I'm failing already. Am I saying one word? Am I saying just one word?
One word, yes.
Warmth.
Okay, then fees must fall.
Revolution.
Okay, then we go mother.
Nurturer.
Father.
Guide. I'm not sure what happened, Thabo. You froze up a bit there. What's the last word you said? I'm saying you broke a bit. I didn't hear the last word you said.
I didn't get your education.
Education. Yo. Direction.
Okay, this is the last one. Black child.
Arise.
Thank you. That was thank you. So speaking about black child, we know how childhood has a way of providing cues and clues of potential. Can you please just, President, tell us about your childhood, your upbringing?
Okay, thank you, Thabo. So as a child, I was very active, very inquisitive. I also had a very great sense of humor. I always made my friends laugh. I was always that child that, made everyone laugh, liked cracking jokes. And I didn't let any opportunity pass me. Every game that was played, I was there. I was at the center of that game, Even at school, primary level, I did public speaking. I did a lot of sporting engagement as well. I was a lively child, to say the least. And then I also started going to church a lot. And, you know, from a very early age at church as well, you know, I took part in almost all programs. If people wanted, you know, a singer, I was there, an MC, I was there, a preacher, I was there. So I was very, very active. And, you know, I was so active in church. At some point, my mother got worried that, you know, I'm starting to neglect my academics, and she was scared that, you know, I'm going to fail my matric. And I had to assure her that I've got this, I've got it all balanced out. But, you know, I must add, a part of her was also glad, you know, because church kept me away from the streets, especially at a time where a lot of my friends were starting to do drugs and that kind of thing. So I think a part of her was also glad to some extent.
So if I were to do a follow-up question and say to you, what would you say now to the 12-year-old you? If you say something to the 12-year-old you, what would you say now? The black child in you.
Yeah. You know, I think when I started going to church when Thabo, I closed myself up from a lot of things, you know, and I thought that church is the be all and end all. And I think this led to a lot of ignorance. So to the 12-year-old me, I would say, Sandile, it's okay to explore other things. It's okay to, you know, to do other things. As long as, you know, they are within your values and your virtues. I would also say it's okay to do mistakes, Sandile, because I think I spent a lot of my life trying to impress everyone. I was quite an impressionist, and I didn't want to disappoint anyone. You know, I think I wanted to live up to everyone's hopes and expectations about what I should be, at least in their eyes. So I would say, you can make mistakes and it's okay. Learn from that. Thabo, I think your connection is a bit bad. I'm not sure.
President. Yeah.
I'm saying
okay,
your connection keeps breaking, okay, but I see you're back now.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay, I'm back now. I'm back. Okay, so if I can see I went through our last conversations when we spoke about the Arise Black Child and what it's all about. We had a lot of conversation that was stirred up, but now I want us to look into this one. I'm very aware that the Arise Black Child movement seemed to be founded in Black consciousness in many ways we can think of. How were you first exposed to the ideals of Black consciousness?
You know, Brother Thabo, I can't exactly pinpoint what sparked my interests in Black consciousness, especially because, you know, the people I was always with were not conscious people. We're not people who were, you know, interested in politics. But I did have a sudden interest, and I started reading. You know, I can remember that one of my pupils, when I was teaching in a primary school, they actually gave me a book by Steve Biko, I Write What I Like. To this day, I don't know what prompted the child to give me that book. It was out of the blue. It was not prompted by anything I said. And he just gave me that book. And in hindsight, when I look back, I can really see that in many ways, there was no way of me escaping this. You know, everything in the universe was like, this is the path that you should take. And, you know, I just started reading. I just started having an interest, especially after reading that book. And, you know, from there, I started aligning myself with conscious people. I started watching videos that really, really, you know, conscientized me and, you know, really precipitated this desire that I have. And I must say, even today, to this day, I still have a desire of learning about Black consciousness and its ideals. I don't feel like I've reached a stage where I have it all figured out.
No, thank you, thank you. Gia, you can come in. You can come in, my sister.
I think one thing that I really wanted to know, because I used to struggle when people would ask me about like the exact definition of what ABC was, because I'd always say I'm a part of ABC, and I wouldn't know exactly what to say I was a part of. So by definition, what is the ABC?
Yeah, I hear you and I understand you. I think a lot of people find themselves in that conundrum, you know. But let's go with this definition. Arise Black Child is a broad-based Black radical movement. We are a non-party movement, so we're not a political party movement, but we have political interest because being Black is political. You know, and to say the least, we are a movement that is, you know, aiming at, you know, really helping the Black child to rise, especially from a psychological point of view, especially with, you know, with all the attempts really to suppress the Black child. You know, the neo-colonial dispensation that we find ourselves in is merely a continuation of the colonial project that continues to suppress the Black child and, you know, make sure that the Black child doesn't reach his full potential. So I think that's what I can say in a nutshell.
Actually, I'm glad you said that, because one of my questions was, why are we helping the Black child rise? And you just summed that up perfectly. But now I know the ABC has multiple programs, you know, and I think I already know that A Rise for Her has to be my favorite one as a woman. It's just, I already know. But what exactly is A Rise for Her? For people who don't know that yet, what is A Rise for Her and what does it do?
Okay, thank you for the question. You know, when it was initially conceptualized, the Arise for Her program was meant to be about, you know, giving out sanitary pads. So what exactly happened is there's a girl who reached out to me on Facebook, and she said she needs sanitary pads, you know. And I felt like, okay, this is definitely a need that we need to look into. And it was funny because, you know, after her, there was a few ladies that had the same concern. For some reason, they thought we already have a program that looks into that, whereas we actually didn't. And, you know, at first, I thought, let me mobilize and get and outsource help from outside. But one of our exec members, Uspiwe Matebula, said, you know, I think we need to start our own and we need to, you know, reach out to our own people in that regard. So we started off as just a program that will look into the sanitary needs of women, because you know that, you know, that's one need we cannot avoid. And also it's one need that you can't just do once and say, I've done my job. It's a constant need. So that's how it started off. But as we continued, we felt the need to integrate a mentorship program into it as well, because I felt that surely there's more we can give to girls than just sanitary pads. You know, girls need a lot of nurturing, girls need a lot of empowerment, you know, especially in the world, the way it is set up that has suppressed Black women for the longest of times. And so it has become a program about nurturing Black women, and it's really a Black empowerment, women empowerment program, where we mentor girls and, you know, support them in whatever they need.
One of the other programs that I was really interested in was the Defeat Addiction program. And I mean, the name says it all, but how exactly do you, or how exactly does ABC help people who are battling addiction?
Okay, again, another exec member. I think let me also make this disclaimer. I know I'm the only one that is having this interview now as the leader, as the founder of Arise Black Child, but I'm not running a one-man show. I have a very wonderful team that is hands-on, and I want to take this moment and just appreciate them as well. But yes, Uvuyo, one of our other exec members, you know, he has a passion. He is very convicted about helping out out and restoring lives, especially lives that have been rejected and, maligned by the society, looked down by the society. And, he's very convicted when it comes to, men and women that are addicted to drugs. He is from a township called Langavale, which has been said by many as the epicenter of drugs, especially in our district. And, he's been talking to a lot of people who are addicted. A lot of them have been coming to him as well, telling him that they want to quit. And, at first he didn't know how to assist them. But he then said, I think we need an actual program that is going to look into this specific need. And yes, we have since drafted a proposal. We have since set up a plan, and we've worked out quite a comprehensive program that we take through, our brothers and sisters that are hooked on drugs. So what he does is that he identifies people that, first of all, want to quit. We can't go around imposing a will to change on people that don't want to change. So people that want to quit and people that say, you know what, I've had it with this kind of life. And what he does then is we take them through a rehab. We have been fortunate to have quite a few. I think we're sitting at 3 or 4 rehabs that we have a partnership with at the moment. And, we take them through that rehab. We assess the severity of their addiction. Some of them don't even have to go to rehab. He just gives them something to do. He's running a poultry farm. So some of them, he has just given them a job at the poultry farm, given them something to do. And it has really helped greatly to stop them taking these drugs. But yes, some of them go through the program of rehab. And after rehab, when they come back, we secure a job for them as well. Again, we're in partnership with, an organization that is giving out job opportunities. And we thought to ourselves, let's give job opportunities to these people who come from rehab so that they have something to do. Because if you come back to the same community and you are idling, doing nothing, the chances of you going back to drugs are very high. So yes, that's just in a nutshell what the program is about and our strategy with that program.
To be that extensive, I do not want to lie to you. I am I'm in awe right now. But the last program that I saw was the Return of the Kings. And I do not want to lie. I tried. I do not understand which one this one is about, but I am hoping you can help me.
Thank you for asking. Return of Kings is an initiative geared for men, for Black men. And it is a space for Black men to talk freely about the challenges that we are confronted with as Black men. And it is really a space for us as Black men to let our guards down, because I think there's a lot of pressure, to be a certain way, to act a certain way, to appear a certain way. And, we end up hiding behind our ego and these kind of things. So it is really a space where we want to be honest and we want to be candid about the challenges that we go through, and also to pull out the dormant king in all of us, that is buried under layers of hurt, that is buried under layers of insecurity, of anger. So in a nutshell, it is a space where we redefine masculinity and where we guide each other to healthy manhood.
Okay, well, I think since Thabo's back, I think he can take the wheel.
Yeah, I apologize. I had just a bad connection. So we are back. We think that we are back. So I think I know that she was probably asking about the setup of Yes. So I could just hear the last words. From my side, I wanted to actually get to this point now to say you what about your university, about you being a student, and how the vision came into pass. I'm very interested in that one. And I think last time when we spoke about it, we went like, okay, we want to hear. I don't want to say it, but I want to hear it from you. That how did ABC come to life? How did Arise Black Child come to life?
Thank you, Thabo. It's always an interesting question to answer, honestly. You know, Thabo, as a student, throughout my student years, I was not interested in politics. I was not interested in Black consciousness ideals. You know, I spent most of it, I think, trying to continue a pattern that I already had from home, which was church. You know, that's what I knew. That's what I was comfortable with. And when I got to UJ, I just wanted to find my space, myself in a space where I will just continue with that. And, you know, I got to SCO. I was a huge part of SCO. I ended up leading SCO at, you know, Auckland Park campus. And then, you know, like I said, because I see you're referring to a conversation that we once had. Like I said in that conversation, one day from nowhere, literally nowhere, Thabo, I had a dream. I was sleeping and I had a dream. And in this dream, I was walking out of UJ and, you know, I was walking home and I looked quite sad. I looked quite somber. You know, it's as if I was not fulfilled. It's as if I was not, you know, there was a void in my life. And, you know, there's this vehicle that just stopped next to me. I can remember what vehicle it was, the color, everything. And, you know, from this vehicle came out two people and I recognized them. One of them was, you know, a preacher that I know. His name is Bishop Noel Jones. And the other guy was a political figure, was Chris Hani. And, you know, this was quite odd for me. And in that dream, you know, they even looked like they have the same height, you know. And when they stepped out of this vehicle, they picked me up. They picked me up and they put me on their shoulders. And, you know, they were beginning to just proclaim these things to say, you're quite somber. We don't know why you are somber. You need to step up, you know. You need to step up. The world is waiting for you. You have a lot of work to do. You are a leader, you know, and they just started proclaiming all of these things. And, you know, they were so happy. They were so jovial. I can remember the joy in their faces. And, you know, when they left off, I was also now revived. I was resuscitated. That void that I felt in the beginning was not there. You know, there was just a sense of fulfillment. And, you know, after having this dream, I think this is where the desire for Black consciousness also came about, because from that point, you know, I just started having this urge of, guys, what are we doing for our people? We're not doing enough, you know. And I remember starting a WhatsApp group, you know, and I was trying to lobby people to say, let's talk, let's strategize, let's come up with ideas, let's come up with solutions. You know, and even there I could feel like, no, man, these people are not hearing me, you know. You know, these people are not hearing me. They're not you know, I was just so energized to do something about my reality, my status quo, you know, the conditions of Black people. And, you know, I remember when I started that group, I didn't think about it, but I gave that WhatsApp group the name Arise Black Child. You know, I'm a person that likes playing around with words. And it just came to my mind. I just thought, Arise Black Child, you know, it makes a nice APC kind of a thing. So there wasn't much thought that went into the phrase Arise Black Child. But yeah, it moved from a WhatsApp group to a movement that has been registered now, because, you know, from that point, I've just been talking to people to say, guys, we have work to do. And that urge has since, you know, become weighing more and more on me. But I'm glad that it didn't, you know, just perspire into thin air. We did something about it. We registered ABC. We mobilized, you know, a team that is ready to tackle the issues. And yeah, this is where we are today from that point.
Wow. So you are the best of both, Chrisan with Noel Jones. I think the interpretation was quite clear. Now let us go to the first event. the Born Voyage event. I know that, when you've been dreaming, having a vision, trying to put things together, on that day of your first event, you'll tell us what that event was, and will just give us a background of the preparation of that.
Yeah. Thabo, I can remember that event very vividly. Our very first event, we coined it as the Courage to Rise Festival. And, we hosted it in Langaville, Tsakani, which is my hometown where I come from. And, we just had a very interesting program. We had artists that were singing. We had poets that came and did poetry. And, that is the day that we sort of launched ABC, because, we were telling people what ABC is about. We were telling people our plans. And Thabo, I can remember how I felt that day. I was beyond excited. So this thing that I have been thinking about, this thing that I have been talking about is actually coming to life. This thing that I've been dreaming about and having sleepless nights about, here it is. We have actually launched it. And Thabo, I must say I was also nervous as well. I was nervous because I wasn't sure at that point which direction we would go. I hadn't gotten things figured out. Yes, we had our plans, we wrote down things, but I was also nervous of, what this journey would be like and the challenges that we would encounter, as you can imagine. But I am very glad that we had that event because it really pushed us ever since to keep doing something and to keep, pushing the agenda of ABC.
Wow. So since you started until now, how have you been making sure that all the different facets of the movement still subscribes and keeps up with the core of your vision as a leader?
Yes, leader, like I said, I have a very sober team.
Okay.
I made sure that when I put together a team, I don't just put together people that will just do things as I say. The first thing that I did is, I told them what the vision is, and I gave them direction on where we are going. And from time to time, Thabo, I check in with the team to say, guys, are we still going according to what I invited you to, because Thabo, it's very easy to go off track and start doing things that were not initially the plan as you initially instigated them. So yes, that is one of the things I must state what I've been doing. And, as a prayerful person, I must also mention that I try to keep up with, praying and connected to God and really saying, this thing came from you to begin with, and it will be sustained by you. It will be directed by you. And I think that is a very important aspect as far as, driving this movement is concerned, because I don't want to be taken by my excitement and begin to steer, this thing in the way that it was not intended to. So one of the other things that I do is to keep up, with praying and being engaged with the source of the vision. So yes, I hope that answers you.
No, it does. My sister, Blacknificent Kia.
I wanted to ask, I think we've already established that I'm the one here about ABC. I am very interested.
Thabo is on about me.
He's on about you. I'm here for ABC. So I wanted to ask, there's different programs, and I mean, I can imagine, like you were saying earlier, with the Arise for Her program, Uti, it's not something you just do once. It's something you need to keep doing. That's very taxing to yourself, to everybody else involved. So I wanted to ask about the funding in particular. Where does the funding come from? How do you get your funding? And also, how can we, because I think there's a lot of people tuned in, there's a lot of people that care, there's a lot of people that want to help and be a part of such a great movement. So what is it that we can do to help? Because talking about it is easy, but yeah.
Give us money. Give us money. Give us money. You know, Kia, that is one of the most difficult components when you are running an organization. The money, you know, the funding. And because we are registered as a nonprofit organization, we do rely heavily on, you know, on donations. And that is what has sustained us a lot up to this point. And I must say that people have responded quite positively, especially with the Arise for Her program. You know, I've been in awe of how people have been donating and contributing, particularly with that program. And I think I must take this moment and also just thank everyone who has made donations in that regard. But obviously, Kia, we can't just expect people to give all the time. So an initiative on our end is that we make our merchandise, our Arise Black Child shirts and caps and all of those things. So we kill two birds with one stone, you know. We get to market ABC, we get to, you know, brand ABC in that regard, but we make sales from that, and the profits from that help us a great deal with running our programs. So yes, obviously the only way, one of the best ways or only way that people can help is reach out to us. We are very open to taking any amount. You do not know how much 50 Rand can go. It can go a very long way, you know. So yes, we are open to donations. We are open to contributions. We are open to any form of donation or contribution in that regard. And you can contact us on any of our social media platforms. You can WhatsApp us. You can do anything. You can email us, and we will be very glad and appreciative of any contribution in that regard.
This is why when I asked for a cap for so long, you wouldn't give it to me. Now I know.
Yeah,
now
no, it's going for 80 bucks. Now you know.
No, now I see. But not that the ABC is a business or anything, you know. But I wanted to ask Uguti, how does the ABC differ from other organizations that we know of, other things? Because there's a lot of organizations in our country that want to help Black people or just want to help the community. So what makes the ABC an organization or a movement worth joining?
You know, I don't know many organizations that are geared at the mental revolution of a Black child. I know very little that are focused on, you know, uplifting a Black child, especially from the inferiority complexity that has been inculcated by the colonial and neo-colonial dispensation. So I get that a lot of organizations exist, but I don't think much work goes into, you know, ushering a mental revolution and really, you know, really dealing with this thing of a Black child, which for me is, you know, everything. This is the rise and fall of everything. And I always say that, you know, we talk about economic emancipation, we talk about political emancipation. Those are very important things to talk about. But if there is no psychological revolution, all of those things become a danger to a Black child. If you give a Black child R1,000,000 now and they are not psychologically, you know, emancipated, you are killing them. You are initially just killing them. So I think what makes us different is, you know, our drive to really change the mindset of Black people and get people to think at a different level, and, you know, stop begging Eurocentric and Europeans for, you know, their culture and their standard of living, and really getting the Black child to take pride in themselves and, you know, to take pride in who they are and to rise against all the odds that they face.
Understood. I hear you. So what is the role of the ABC? Because yeah, we've said a lot today, but I remember you said, Uguti, you're not a political party, you know, or you have no political affiliation. So what is the role of the ABC itself in challenging the status quo? Because I don't think there's a single person in the country that's happy with our status quo in politics. So what is the ABC doing to challenge that?
Oh, absolutely. Our main role here is to mobilize and to organize the Black body. I think the Black body is, although some of us or most of us are conscious about, the status quo, and we are not happy with the status quo, I think a lot of us are just impressed with being romantic with the revolution. We romanticize the revolution, and we're not doing anything about it. A lot of people sound militant and they sound revolutionary when you talk to them. But then the question that follows is, what are you doing? And in most cases, we always wait for mobilization. We always wait for something to happen to mobilize around that. We always wait for a guy to walk into a mall wearing African attire, and be chased out, and then we want to do something. Or we want to wait until there's an issue with fees, and then we want to do something. But I think what people don't understand is that we are facing a bigger problem, and that is we are in an anti-Black white supremacist world, not just country, not just continent, but world. And we cannot wait for events to pop up for us to do something about them. We need to be conscious about everything and start planning what we can do about the status of Black people, and start planning how we can, be the masters of our own destiny as Black people. Because I think the problem that we face as a Black nation is that we continuously beg white supremacists, we beg Europeans, we are begging to be co-opted into a white world. And we need to think at a different level, that this is not about joining the table. This is not about being at the table and being invited at the table. This is about taking over the table.
Yeah.
And that is what we need to do. We need to organize ourselves, and we need to start planning how we can go about doing that. But at the main crux, at the main core of our existence, is ushering a mental revolution that will be a forerunner of socio-economic revolution.
I'm going to let my Blacknificent brother come in and ask you questions about yourself to calm you down, because this fire is
I'm getting fired up.
I enjoy being more personal, and my last question, I think it brings us to this one, and President, I'd really like you to on this one think it through while I'm asking it, because I think for me it's personal in a way.
I know how excited he is to ask this question, so I'm gonna wait just a few seconds. We can't get him back. He's very excited about this question.
I wonder what's coming my way.
My brother, we didn't hear you on that one, so could you please just repeat it again?
Okay, I'm gonna ask again. My question for you, Mr. Sandile, is, after all this, when one day the Lord remembers you, how would you want your wife to remember you? How would you want your kids to remember you? And how would you want the society or the community of South Africa to remember the great Sandile MC?
Yo. Brother Thabo, I want to use an acronym to answer your question. Okay. And the acronym is HELPER. And I want to give, a definition for each letter in that regard. I want to be remembered as a helper, and for H, I want to be remembered as someone who was a healer. I want to be remembered as someone who healed emotional and psychological scars. And I think this is what has inspired me and influenced me to take up psychology as a study, because, you know, I'm all about healing. Let us heal. We've gone through a lot of trauma as Black people, and I think we need a lot of healing. For E, I want to be remembered as an empowerer. I want to be remembered as someone who empowered people. You know, a lot of people's stance on leadership is to be, you know, the one person at the top who you know, who dictates and suppresses other people. But that is not the kind of leader I want to be. I want to empower people, because for me, the greatest way to gauge leadership is how you empowered others. And that is power for me. Power is empowering others. You know, for L, I want to be remembered as a leader. I want to be remembered as someone who changed the status quo, who challenged the status quo, you know, and brought about, you know, a change. For P, I want to be remembered as a pioneer. I want to be remembered as someone who started things that no one could have imagined, or started things that everyone spoke about, but was scared to actually, you know, start those things. So I want to be remembered as someone who, again, challenged the status quo in that he started something that couldn't have been imagined. The other E, I want to be remembered as someone who equips, someone who encourages, which coincides with being an empowerer. And for R, my brother, I want to be remembered as a revolutionary. Wow. I want to be remembered as someone whose life enhanced humanity, whose life really brought about change in people's lives.
Wow, wow. We celebrate you. You are the spotlight of Black excellence, as we stand for, as Black Magnificent Show. And these are just my last remarks, if I may say, and I'll give it over as well to my Blacknificent sister to also do the same. So we thank you for such an initiative. I think this was just a God dream, and conversing about it, I think it lays
I think we can just. Oh no, I think he'll join us later, and he'll give it after, because I still have one more question before we close this off as well.
Foundation on what will happen in the next 8th of the year. So you are indeed the spotlight. Actually excited about what. Over to you, Kia.
My brother, we are losing you heavily.
Yo. Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
You hear me?
Yes, we can.
We can, yes.
Yeah, okay, yes. So I don't know where was the cutoff, but I'm just excited about the Blacknificent Show moving forward with such a start, with such spotlights of Black excellence of our own. You know, when we're gonna be telling people about Black excellence, we know that charity begins at home. So thank you so much, our President Sandile Msibi, and Kia, over to you. Let the lady close it.
My closing question would actually be, when you reach your goal as ABC, because I feel like the work is never going to stop, and the work that we need to do in our community is never going to stop. But say we could reach a set goal, what would society look like?
Oh, powerful question. You know, I know we would have made it when we are the masters of our own destiny. I think I've said this throughout this conversation. When we no longer beg, when we are proud of who we are, when we take pride in our heritage, when we don't have to beg for food, when we don't have to, you know, import food, and we can sustain ourselves. And, you know, we are proud of who we are. And, you know, we are taking charge, And, you know, we are fruitful in everything that we are doing. And we overcome all of these social ills that have been inculcated, you know, by the colonial and the neo-colonial dispensation. So I know we would have made it when, you know, we don't see a white person as being superior to us, as being smarter than us and more civilized than us, as they would say, you know. And we take pride. And when the malls are full of people like what our brothers demonstrated recently with African attire, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because that is how it actually should be when we take pride in ourselves in that regard, and we speak our own language, and we wear our clothes, and we eat our food, and we just love being ourselves, and we are not apologetic of being African.
Completely. I don't know if you have any closing remarks.
All I can say to everyone is let's continue to rise. You have it in you. You have potential. You were built to win. And regardless of what the circumstances may be in your life that make it seem like you're just never going to make it, you know, you have it in you. You know, our ancestors were the masters of civilization. We were the first to conceptualize what is civilization. And that is in your DNA. That is inside of you. So I want to say to you, with every attempt to put you to sleep, I need you to arise and realize your brilliance, realize your potential, and realize how great you truly are. Arise, Black child, arise.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I think I speak for everybody who today was just inspirational. I did not expect. I honestly came in with crazy expectations, but this exceeded all of them. And I have a newfound respect for you completely. And I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. You were definitely a big blessing in my life. It was not by chance. This meeting, it was not by chance. Obviously, God sees what he was doing, and I'm forever grateful for you. That being said, guys, my name is Monama, and I was one of your hosts tonight. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my brother Thabo with the tricky surname. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for hosting us tonight. And we'll see you again next week, everybody.
Yeah, have a blessed night, everybody. Thank you.